Today we're going to be playing breeder bingo. And again, the breeders are the ones that we encounter out in public everywhere that just love being parents. They think parenting is the best job in the world, that man was made to be parents, you know, whatever. You've all met those kinds of people, I'm sure. But today is breeder bingo. And what it is there's a card with different sayings that we get all the time. And I'm going to be going over each one and giving my opinion on them, because we hear them every day when we go out. Someone, a breeder comes up to us and says, "Oh, why don't you like having kids? Why don't just these are all the sayings that we hear all the time." And why they call it bingo is because on this card, whenever we encounter a row over diagonally or across, we get what we call a bingo. So if a child-free person ever says to you, "Hey, I got bingoed," this is what they're talking about. And this is what the card looks like, by the way. It's just so you can get a visual. Okay, first square. It's different when it's your own. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a second. I've lived with kids before. I've seen parents. I've talked to parents. They're just as miserable as everybody else, and I'm not going to take the chance of having a good kid. Who will take care of you when you're old? There's no guarantee that kids are going to take care of you when you're old. I work at a care facility right now for the elderly, and they barely get visitors. And their kids call every once in a while to see how their parents are doing, but they don't come visit them. They don't. Sometimes some old people just don't get visitors ever. They don't get calls. There are some that have regular visitors just to make sure that we're doing our job as care managers, and we can, we're taking care of their parents the way they need to be. But having a kid is no guarantee that they're going to take care of you when you're older. That's why they're in a nursing facility, is because if their kids were taking care of them, they wouldn't be there. You'll change your mind. The most common statement the child-free hear. You'll change your mind. No, we won't. There is no amount of convincing that it's going to tell us that it's one day going to be okay to have kids because of our own personal reasons. I love the fact that a stranger you meet for 2 seconds thinks that they know your life better than you do, which is not true. But whatever. I mean, just like I said, we deal with it. People who don't want kids are selfish. The child-free are known, or not known to be selfish. It's a stereotype. Just like, if I called all parents breeders, that would be a stereotype, and I know I'm wrong. That's why I don't do it. There are responsible parents, and then there are breeders. But yeah, selfish. Give me a reason to have kids. That's not selfish. But whatever. What's the matter? You don't like kids? I don't know. I mean, I personally like kids. They're annoying a little bit, but you go to a mall or wherever, you go outside and you see screaming children, and some people think it's cute. I don't hate them. They're okay, I guess. I can stand them for small amounts of time, and by that I can know that I would never want one of my own. Your child could grow up to cure cancer. Yeah, I'm sure Hitler's parents said the exact same thing. Hitler, Stalin, Bundy, yeah, take your pick. What if your parents hadn't had kids? Then I wouldn't be making this video. Simply enough. Let's see, if everyone didn't have kids, the human race would die out. Again, 7 billion people. We're not going anywhere. You aren't a real adult until you have kids. Okay, so the 13-year-old idiot girl who gets knocked up is an adult now because she's popped out a kid? I don't think so. The children are our future. Technically, yes. But our future's not looking too good right now, so I wouldn't count on it. People like you should have kids. No, people like me are smart enough to realize that we shouldn't have kids. Let's see, the only reason to get married is to have children. No, not true. I've been married to my wife for 8 years, and she's my best friend. My partner, she's the best person in the world. I couldn't imagine doing anything without her. I mean, I enjoy being with her. I enjoy every day with her. We never, 8 years together, we've never run out of anything to talk about. We've never, we've had a couple little tiny fights over the years, but nothing big. Certainly nothing as big as the discipline of a child, the rearing of a child, the custody battles, alimony, all that. That's never happening. Let's see. Children are a woman's greatest achievement. No. Again, the 13-year-old girl who pushes a kid out, that's not an achievement. That's called an accident. The crack whore, same thing. It's not an achievement. It's certainly not the greatest achievement. Don't you want genetic immortality? No. It just doesn't bother me. I'm here for my life, and that's all. You were a baby once, too. Duh. It's all worth it. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. That's another one, the Childfree here a lot, is it's all worth it. It isn't. In my point of view, it isn't. Because, I've seen my high school friends grow up and have kids. Most of them are single moms now, unfortunately. And they talk about the most tiniest little thing, like, oh, little Brian gave me a hug today. Oh, it's so worth it. And then, like, all last week he was throwing tantrums and throwing a fit and breaking stuff. And, it's the little tiny itty-bitty victories that make them think that it's all worth it. But the Bible said, go forth and multiply. Yeah, 7 billion people. We've multiplied enough. Don't you want to give your parents grandchildren? No. I've seen too many cases, and this isn't the only reason I'm child-free, but I've seen too many cases through my life where the parents want grandkids, and the daughter gives their daughter or son, give them to them, and they themselves are not ready for children, so guess who gets shuffled with the kids? Grandma and grandpa, raising a whole new generation that they didn't intend to raise. They just wanted to spoil them every once in a while. So that's not happening. Nothing is better than that new baby smell? Really? I'd rather just go get a scented candle from Yankee, really. Not like that, but new baby smell? That's the what? Puke, poop, and pee? No thanks. What about the family name? I don't give a damn about the family name, put it simply. The biological clock is ticking. The biological clock is a myth among mostly women, and they think that, scientifically, anybody I think above 35 or maybe it's 40 has a higher chance of having a developmentally disabled child, but that's nothing to do with a biological clock. You forget the pain of labor and birth. Honestly, I wouldn't want to put my wife through that. The pregnancy, the childbirth, all that, I don't want to see my wife go through that. And like I said, children change marriages, certainly. Relationships, friendships, work, life turns upside down when you have a kid. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to put my relationship in jeopardy with my wife. I love her too much. It's the most important job in the world. No, it isn't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that people seem to think that. Aren't you curious to see what they would look like? I'd rather use a computer program to see that instead of actually having a kid to see what the outcome would be. Okay, that's card number 1. Let's go to card number 2.